Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. So in this video I want to take a closer look at a particular lens I've got. So without further ado, let's just get the box here. This is a Sigma lens, a 150 to 600mm f5-6.3 DG contemporary lens. So without further ado, let's just get the lens here. What I've decided to do in this video is we're going to take a closer look at the lens and see what controls are on there and have a look at the build quality, and then just have a quick look at it really, and hopefully this will be quite informative. So welcome to the closer look of the Sigma Contemporary 150 to 600. So the makeup of this lens is 20 elements in 14 groups. We're getting an angular view of 16.4 at 150mm to 4.1 degrees at 600. We've got 9 rounded diaphragm blades for the aperture. Minimum aperture is f22. Minimum focus is 2.8 meters. Maximum magnification ratio is 1.4.9. Diameter of the actual front element, if we take the lens hood off, is 95mm. So it will be an expensive filter to protect that. The diameter of the lens element that we've got here is 95mm. So you'll have to have a very big filter to protect that big element. Fortunately, Sigma sell this, which is the WR coating protector 95mm. Now these are over £100 each. However, it's hardened glass and it will not shatter, and they are really useful for protecting that front element. So if we just open this up, comes in a nice protective case like so. Just take that off, and that's the size of the filter. Quite a massive piece of glass that will go on the front of your lens like so, and it should offer some extremely good protection. And I must say, Sigma include a very strong and sturdy case to keep it in, so kudos to Sigma for providing that. So again, it will cost you about £105 for one of those. And obviously it comes with a nice lens hood, which isn't that big. It's about 3 inches long, and it fits onto the lens nicely and quite sturdy. Now if we take this lens and we zoom it all the way out, it is a bit top heavy, so obviously you can appreciate that is a hell of a lens to carry around, and it's just under 2 kilograms, 1.93 kilograms in weight. It comes with a lock-in button on there, so you can lock it to stop it creeping, because if you do that, as you can see, it's starting to creep. So in order to stop your lens creeping, and obviously over time it will loosen up, there's a lock switch as such, and it's a hard lock at 150mm. However, if you want to set it at the other points of focal length, such as 150mm, 180mm, 200mm, 250mm, 300mm, 400, 500 and 600, you can engage the soft lock at those various focal lengths as such as 200 there. We can just click that in, and then if we move the zoom ring, it should disengage like so and not damage your lens. So that is a very useful thing to have. The lens is constructed, a lot of it is constructed of an alloy made out of metal obviously. The mount is metal as well, and it has a rubber seal gasket going all the way around. So it's a good thing that it has that, so obviously it gives you some weather sealing. But obviously further down the lens there's no weather sealing on this lens, so be mindful if you take this out in the rain that you want to avoid the rain getting into the various parts of this particular lens. But you can always get a lens cover or a lens cut to go over it to, you know, make it more waterproof. So essentially this lens is well made and it feels sturdy in the hand. It doesn't feel or rattle around. It's not cheap, and it has a nice focus window with various distances on there. So let's take a look at the controls here in more depth. So the controls that we've got on the lens here is the focus selector. We have a limiter selector, we have the optical stabilizer selector, and also a custom selector switch as well. So let's just talk about these various switches we've got on here. So here we have the autofocus selector, so we can click it onto autofocus, or we can click it onto manual override, which means it retains autofocus, but at the moment you actually move the focus barrel as if you were doing manual focus. It disengages the autofocus motor and it operates in manual. And obviously we have the manual selector here as well, allowing us to adjust and do manual focus. Here in the limiter we have full, so from 2.8 meters to infinity, and then obviously we have 10 meters to infinity, and then 2.8 meters to 10 meters. So you can adjust your focus limiter to the situation you find yourself in. Then we have the optical stabilizer here. The optical stabilizer switches we've got is 1 and 2. 2 for panning, and obviously you can turn it off. And then we have the custom switch here, which we have C2 and C1 and off. So if you buy the Sigma dock, which is a USB device that you put onto this, it will allow you to adjust the limiter, the optical stabilizer, the autofocus, and what you can do is you can program some settings in there. An example would be if you wanted to have 20 meters is on the limiter to infinity rather than 10 meters. You could put that and dial that into C1 mode, and you'd be able to adjust this lens for that setting and just switch it on to say C2. Let's say we programmed it into C2, click it onto C2, we'd have our 20 meters to infinity set up and we'd be able to use that, and then when we decide we don't want to use that anymore, we can turn that off and go back to the standard settings that we've got here, like 10 meters to infinity. So I just wanted to briefly talk you through the controls here. That's essentially the controls of the lens itself. So let's have a look at the tripod collar in more depth. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we have the tripod collar, which is made out of alloy again, probably aluminium, and it's a really sturdy piece of metal, and it's very easy to actually take off because you can remove this from the actual lens. So you just twist the knob there, then you want to line up the front here where it says remove, and you just literally lift it off, and there you go, it comes off, and that is the tripod mount. So if you want to, it comes with a rubber attachment which just goes on there. I won't put it all the way on, but it fits onto there, and obviously it protects the lens a bit more from the elements. Essentially, this is a really well-rounded, well-made, well-machined lens. The only thing that feels a little bit on the cheap side, if I'm honest, is the lens cover, the lens hood. It's just plastic, nothing special about it. Essentially, that's all we have really to it. It's a plastic lens cover. It's not metal. There's nothing else I can really say about it, but it's just a lens hood really. So you just attach that to your lens. Obviously it has some form of grooves inside there to try and, you know, stop stray light and flare getting into the element of the lens. But it's a well-made piece of glass, so I wouldn't be concerned about possibly using this lens at all. It is a well-made piece of glass. It is heavy in hand, don't get me wrong, and after a couple of hours of having this over your shoulder, you will feel it. So my recommendation is, when using this lens, it might be a good idea to attach a strap to the actual tripod mount, because obviously there's a place where you can do so there. I don't know if you can see that in the video. There's a place there you can put your strap and put it over your shoulder or on some sort of harness or something like that. And I just hope this video was a little bit informative about. Okay, so we have a focus window here that allows you to adjust focus if you want to do it manually. They're all indicated there from 2.8 meters going up all the way up to 30 meters and then finally infinity. So if you want to dial in your focus manually, it has a nice big window demonstrating the distances. Highly recommended this lens. Well made, really nice, and I don't think you would be too disappointed having this telephoto lens on a safari or any other type of event. Thank you for watching. Hope this helped you. Bye bye.